This race might actually be kind of good because the top 5 are within 10th or so.
Talladega, or almost said Talladega, from Daytona. These guys, season opener last week. Primetime Racing TV did not cover it. However, you can go check it out. Last week's broadcast on Max Speed TV was the one that covered that one. I was in the booth for that one, so it was quite an exciting race to commentate. Pretty sure it was pretty exciting to view as well, so you folks can go check that out on Max Speed TV's channel.
Yeah, but going forth, you should be seeing us here on primetime for the Cup Series here. But as we said, qualifying is now underway, and what are the challenges that these drivers will face here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway?
Well, I haven't driven this track in a while, so I really don't know what it's going to be like, but I know these Cup cars at super speedways are usually pretty tight and tough to handle here.
Looking at some of these guys going around the track now, it does look like it's a pretty tight racetrack. I've seen a couple people scrape the wall in qualifying already, and makes me wonder what the end of this race will be like, or even the beginning. You know, on restarts, these guys will be shuffling around, trying to get the most amount of positions that they can while everyone is all stacked together. And you know, these guys just got to watch out. That wall will eventually jump out.
I do know two things that I will be looking for. Is I expect some major tire wear, which will lead to pit strategy, and I also expect the new dynamic track model that has been fixed on iRacing come into effect. I really expect, with the good amount of guys we have, I think these guys will be searching all over for grit.
Yeah, I expect at some point these guys will be running the wall if they can get going long enough for a green flag round.
Well, these guys, good league here, good clean racers, tend to have a lot of long green flag runs. So, yeah, look for that move to be moving up the track, as I see a couple more people scrape the wall here in qualifying. Not good.
Now these guys get 2 laps around, and unless you really screw up the first lap, your second should be your first one should be the go-to unless you really screwed it up. So you really need to get what you can, because that second lap, the tires are already going to have some degradation.
Yeah, from looking at qualifying, it looks like a lot of these guys are a little tight entering and in the center, and then a little free off. Especially off of 2.
Here we're following Corey Blevins in the 25, and you saw him hit the bumps there through 3 and 4, kind of threw him up a lane there, and that's probably going to hurt his lap time by at least a couple tenths, I'd imagine.
Looks like Briar LaPrade so far has the fastest lap. Wow, seeing a couple loose race cars out there as well, surprisingly.
Takes you back to 2011, Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, the classic Atlanta battle of running as hard as you can, trying to make those passes, but having absolutely no grip in the process. That's what these guys are going to be dealing with. But as we look at the board here, the top 7 drivers all within a tenth of each other. So this is really, these guys are really putting down tight times at a difficult racetrack.
Yeah, very tight times indeed. And these guys, you know, very good racing league, very clean drivers, very fast drivers, and you know, the competition in this league is also very, very good. So yeah, these guys expect some really close racing here tonight.
Right now, looks like basically everyone who is planning on running a lap, it looks like, has run it. So I would expect to say Briar LaPrade, excuse me, being our pole sitter here today.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. 13 guys have made a time right now.
And 2, 1, 0, that confirms it. Starting lineup is set, and here it comes, the Primetime TV starting lineup here. On the pole, as we said, is Briar LaPrade in the 12 machine with a 28.93. Joshua Adams to his outside. Thomas Bresci in third. Nick Massey in fourth. Dustin Johnson in 5th, and Jonathan Wall in 6th. And Robert Kenny 7th, and rounding at the top 8 is Tyler Hensley.
We got Kyle Souza in 9th, Corey Blevins in 10th, Kyle Zimmer in 11th, Dylan Pileski in 12th, Cody Tabor in 13th, Shane Terrian in 14th, Tanner Allen in 15th, rounding out the top 15.
16th is Casey Shue, 17th Rusty Capel, 18th Joel Holloway, and rounding out the field is Travis.
I'm gonna go with Lonace.
Lonace.
Something like that.
We'll just call him
Apologize,
Travis.
if we get your name wrong.
Yeah,
that is a tricky one.
Yeah, we've covered Hardline for a while. Have not seen him race, but we will we'll get that down next time. So again, be one pace lap around the speedway. Oh, look at that! If you look at row 2 here, we actually have, as I said, we have Gordon and Johnson there, the classic Atlanta battle.
Yeah, we'll see if we get that back.
Who's that right there? It is the 24 is
Thomas Bressy and Nick Massey.
There we go.
And the 48.
And we are at the Atlanta 249 for the Hardline Racing Cup Series at Atlanta. 166 laps around this speedway. Atlanta, Georgia, 1.5 mile long facility. It is a 93-degree track temp, so it is a little bit slick out there today. That is because of an 82-degree temperature in the air, but some mostly cloudy skies to maybe try to give a little bit of that grip back. But it is going to be a slick one out there today.
And I see it's got a 54% fuel limit, so what are you guys thinking for how many laps they can go on one tank of fuel?
Well, I do know from my experiences in the Cup car on many mile-and-a-halfs, you traditionally are pitting around 30 laps solely for tires. So I think it's going to be right on the money of you're pretty much going to have to pit at lap 30, whether it be for tires or just for running out of gas.
Yeah, you usually can go around 50 laps or so on fuel, but you want tires after probably about 20, and you just can't make that work.
I mean, you probably want tires after about 5, but I don't think crew chief's going to let you do that.
Yeah. But probably should be able to go 25 to 30 laps on how much fuel they have now.
Ryer LaPrade in the Snap-on Ford Fusion is he will be the control car, the leader, the pole sitter on this initial start of the race, choosing the inside line, which I guess we could probably say that should be the expected line throughout this race, but getting ready for that pace car to take that hard left turn.
Pace car getting ready to pull into pit road. Make that hard left turn. There it goes, awaiting the green flag. Green flag is in the air. They're underway for the first time tonight at Atlanta.
Really even start there by the 88. 12 got a little bit ahead, but overall pretty even.
And here we come with the 24 machine, as we said, of Thomas Bressy. He really got a good shot there, and he'll move immediately into second position as we exit turn number 2.
Still side by side for P3.
I was just going to say that.
Already moving up.
Yeah, these guys are starting to get a little bit single file, but not in the line, not in the low line per se. These guys are running about a half lane up.
You're going to notice in turns 1 and 2, if you notice with the billboards putting those shadows over the racetrack, those shadows are going to have a lower track temp. So watch these guys to run up in turns 1 and 2 to try to get that lower, cooler track.
It looks like the 24 is a little bit quicker than the 12 right now, running that outside. And as soon as I say that, he goes down to the bottom.
But we have to wonder too, we said this track's going to eat those tires up. So who's saving and who's going for it? Is that fuel limit going to affect how you drive the car?
It'll affect it a little bit, but you're not going to want to save too much in only a 30 lap stint. You can only save so much till you get to a point where you just can't make that back up.
Very good point, but we can see here the top 3 are they are closing right to each other, bumper to bumper to bumper. So it looks like a move. Ooh, whoa, 24 almost got in the wall there up 4 if he did not.
Yeah, 88 looking to his inside right now. They're side by side going into turn 1.
Side by side for second place right now, coming out of turn number 2. 88 looking to get the second position early on in this race as they head halfway down the back straightaway going into turn 3.
Now 3 and 4 here at Atlanta. The top isn't as good as the bottom. The top works very well in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 not as much, but the 24 Bresci is able to kind of hold justice there, and I think he'll manage to hold off the position here on the front straightaway.
The 12 is loving what he's seeing in his mirror right now, watching them battle.
Go a little bit further back into the pack, around the 7th to about 12th position here. These guys are really duking it out here. Starting off with the 48 of Nicholas Massey, headed all the way back to the 38 of Taryn. These guys are double file and all over the place.
And honestly, the only thing I see them doing right now is scrubbing off the tire that they have this early in the race. This will not play good for them later on in the run.
But again, where we only are expecting, and I mean, I don't think any of us have a fuel calculator out, we're expecting them to come out probably lap 30 or so. So as Evan was kind of alluding to, there's not much to save because you kind of have to pit at the edge of the tire life as it is. But as the field does start to spread out, we can definitely see the line starting to change. Some guys are sticking it right to the white line, and other guys are starting to experiment with higher grooves.
Correction on the number 8 car's name, Travis Lonis.
Yeah, thanks to Bucky in the chat there for letting us know.
Our apologies, Travis.
Heading back to the front here, looks like LaPrade has given himself about a 3 to 4 car length advantage here, so perhaps he has either found himself a lane, 24 has wore himself out, or these guys are just kind of settling in, because we do have a very long race.
Yeah, really long race here with 166 laps. That's going to be probably 6 pit stops or so. Yeah. 7 pit stops.
And that's saying that we don't have cautions. Oh, look, who's this back here? We have Shane Taryn. He's probably the first to venture into the Larson line there in turns 1 and 2. As we go through 3 and 4, you can see him and the 25 machine, Corey Blevins. They both entered about mid to high groove entering 3 and 4, but then kind of cut to the bottom on the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, it looks like he's liking that Larson line in 1 and 2. He's running it again here.
A little bit lower that time. He was scraping the paint off the safer barrier that last time by, but probably trying to.
It's working for him.
Yeah, you got to keep that right side on it though, because if you hit it too many times early on, that's just going to compound damage that you're going to have to deal with throughout the race.
Not working quite as well in 3 and 4 as it is in 1 and 2 at the moment.
So the field mostly spread out now, single file. Doesn't look like anyone's really making any moves on anyone else. So now that we have a little bit of time to breathe, what do you guys expect for later on in this race? What do you think about, halfway through this race, say? We'll say for now.
I do expect Atlanta is a track traditionally where the guy who's the fastest, a lot of times you will see him walk away with the race. But at least in real life, caution will always kind of manage to bring the field together at an interesting time. So I do expect a couple interestingly timed cautions, maybe getting the field together during green flag stops or something along those lines.
Yeah, I agree with Corey. There's going to be cautions.
And then it's a matter of who's going to be on pit road when a caution comes out, who's going to short pit when a caution comes out, who's going to stay out long and then trap other people a lap down. I mean, but that is all dependent on that yellow flag, and for all we know, we could be going green the whole time.
Yeah, short pitting is going to be a major thing, because looking at the leader, he's already fallen off about 9/10 of a second here in 13 laps.
Yeah, short pitting could play an advantage, huge advantage here tonight to get that fresh rubber earlier than anyone else, make up the lap time, and it's a great way to gain time on someone, especially, you know, in this close of racing. And on television, it may not look like they're racing that close, especially up front. But, you know, for a track like Atlanta, normally the leader will just pull away as we have a battle for second place. Normally the leader will just, you know, be gone, and that's not the case right now.
As Evan was alluding to prior, right now, about the average lap these guys started on was about a 29.1, 29.3 in that gap. These guys are already dropped down 1.2 seconds into the mid-30-second bracket. So as Evan said, expect some short pitting because those laps are only going to fall off even further. But we're still side by side for P2.
Yeah, right now the fastest car on the track right now is Dustin Johnson there in 4th. He's consistently been a 1/10 to 2/10 quicker than everyone else.
Look up, pull off the primetime battle tracker here. Last time by on the circuit, Josh Adams in the 3rd position ran a 30.69, and Dustin Johnson ran a 30.32, full 3.5 tenths faster. So, as you said,
yeah, I see someone in chat asking about the fuel window. We believe it's probably around 30 laps since they're running about half fuel. That's what I would think, around 30.
Yeah, I think you're about right on that one. So, should be about another 12, 13 laps before we see the first guy in the pit road.
Yeah, with short pitting though, they might be coming in here in 10 laps.
And now we're on board here with Joshua Adams in the 88 machine as he is trying to make that move on Bressie here. You can kind of really see them fight the wheel and fight the track here as we enter turn number 1, right on the back bumper. The 24 a little bit loose on entry there, but they both go for that same line, middle of the track. Watching the speed here down. Oh, see feather in the throttle there off exit. These guys are getting a little bit loose.
And that's one side effect that we would normally see in conditions like this as the tires wear off. The back end is really going to want to step out.
Oh, he got a little loose off 4 there, and there came the 2 of Dustin Johnson, move him to the 3rd position.
Yeah, right now he is the fastest car on the track. He's going to go up there and go with Breyer.
And Nick Massey there in the 48, he just completely dove by the 88 as well. So I think the 88's just trying to get to his own little spot here, realizing he may have burnt his stuff. So just trying to hold his own groove till pit stops.
You really see the 2 gaining on everyone on exit.
And
he's
here
around.
He comes.
He's even with them entering in the center. He just gains on them so much on exit.
Here he comes underneath Bressie. That is for the 2nd position here. And he clears them, so let's go, let's see what he could do with the 12 here towards the end of this stint.
So the man on the move right now, the number 2 of Dustin Johnson, running faster than pretty much anyone else on the track right now. And he is pulling away from the guys behind him, gaining ground on the number 12, your leader.
Yeah, again, let's bust out the battle tracker here now that both cars are in clear real estate. The gap right now is about 0.8 between the 2. Last time
his
by,
destiny is real loose.
Almost losing it off a turn 2. The number 2, Dustin Johnson, lost a ton of ground to your leader. Briar LaPrade loves seeing that in his mirror. He has a ton of real estate right by himself now.
We're gonna go on board here with Dustin Johnson off of turn 2. Let's see. It was kind of weird. You didn't really hear any wheel spin or hear him feathering it. It looked like he had it, and then it just broke loose at the last second.
Yeah, even with him getting loose, he's only a 10th slower than Briar LaPrade right now. Dustin is really fast right now. If he can keep all 4s
facing the same direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go. As the leader crosses the line, LaPrade, he has run a 31 flat to a 30.83 for Johnson, so still 0.2 faster, even though those tires might be kind of screaming at him.
You
Got a little
see
loose out of two again.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can see a lot of these guys starting to get loose on exit under throttle now. As these tires start to wear down, guys, it looks like the back end really wants to step out of these cars.
Here comes the 88 of Joshua Adams. He's passing Bressie here, so kind of regaining a spot. Maybe he kind of let those tires breathe a little bit. Maybe Bressie kind of has used his stuff up, but gain a spot back for the number 88.
Yeah, he's going to be trying to get by the 48 here.
Go back in the pack here a little bit. Ooh, looks like Kyle Souza in the 14 just kind of had the little same syndrome that Johnson had. Got really loose off of 2. A little bit of a battle going here, about 8th, 9th, 10th with Kenny, Taryn, and Souza.
Once again, Dustin was 2/10 of a second faster than the leader that lap.
Yeah, he is gaining major ground, almost right to the back bumper from back where he was, just back right near 3rd place. You can see 3rd place has fallen back quite a bit from him now, and he is just about to your leader, Briar LaPrade.
Yeah, 10 laps ago he was in 5th, and now he's battling for the lead.
Very impressive run right now. Is he looking to the outside? He will. He loses a little bit of ground up there on entry. See if he can make it up on exit.
Oh, you can see some wiggles there from LaPrade in the 12, and he's just going to pull down and just give him the top
like
at 3-4.
I wonder if he's going to be pitting.
These
Yeah,
guys
he's
are
hitting pit
side
road.
by side. Your leader pits in.
First stops of the day here are taking lap 20. Ooh, I'm going to be wondering if there's a penalty on that. He entered
He
really
walked him
hot.
up.
He entered really hot, so we'll have to see if the second trip down pit lane for the 12. Hopefully not, but it's a very difficult pit road. Something we should really touch on. These guys are really having to come down off the banking very quickly, make a hard left turn, and slow down about 120 miles an hour in a short real estate. So it is a difficult pit entry here.
Now, does pit speed start at the yellow line or the white line?
It starts at the yellow cone.
Well, he was going 60 miles an hour at the yellow cone.
Correct me if
No,
I'm
no
wrong.
penalty for him. He is underway once again and ready to merge back onto the racetrack.
I'm surprised by that. He was going about 60 miles an hour at the cone, and
you know,
road
with
speed's
him,
50.
And when him cutting it close, that close at the line, that probably gained him a little bit of time.
Here comes the 2 machine. We'll kind of watch him. We have the tracker up here, the speed tracker, and a much more conservative entry for Johnson.
Yeah, we'll see if he gained or lost any there. But he had a really good entry. Didn't take any risks.
Which this early in the race, it is probably the better option. Maybe save that more aggressive stop for later in the race if you do need it. But you have to wonder, that was about, what, 2 laps earlier? Did the 2 machine pit? I'm sorry. Did the 12 pit? So is that 2 laps going to equal some distance on the track?
He's
Well,
probably
we'll
going to have
see
a
right
second
now.
and a half to 2 second lead, I would think, over Dustin. Maybe
Yeah, he's
more.
coming onto the front straightaway now, crossing the start-finish line. The 2 machine just coming out of pit road right
And
now.
there we see him
and
going
around
by.
There's
goes
that
the
gap.
12, right
All of
around
this is real estate. All of this is a bigger lead because of those 2 laps, fresher tires. And a little bit of a drift off of turn 2 for the 12
Yeah.
still.
That is a huge gap now from what was the 12 taking the lead, or the 2, excuse me, taking the lead.
And something worth noting, we're 30 laps into this race. We still have all 19 machines. Excuse me, do we have all 19? I think we have 18 machines on track right now. Look at the groove. The groove is progressively darker than we had started on. So that grip is going to start moving around.
Yeah, we've got 17 cars on track right now.
Yeah, the bottom line, pretty dark so far. And a lot of these guys, we saw them starting to move up about a half a lane, and even that groove is starting to get a little bit dark. So I think by the end of this thing, we could see a couple of guys running right up at the wall.
If anybody watched the Race Spot TV broadcast of the Peak Antifreeze series at Homestead, you would have noticed the whole entire racing track, from the white line to the wall, no space in between. That whole track was black. That is what this dynamic track is capable of if these guys do run all those grooves. And I don't know if we'll get to that level, but I think we're going to have a pretty worn surface at the end of this race.
Yeah, 166 laps, a lot of time to wear this track in for sure, and a lot of green flag laps being put on it already this early in the race. So looking good so far is another big wiggle for Briar LaPrade off of turn number 2.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a 2.3 second lead right now, but it looks like Dustin's closing in a little bit. I think it was about 2.4 when he first came off of pit road. Dustin has 2 lap or so fresher tires, and we'll see how he can close in with those.
Something worth noting too is in the 4th position now we have Shane Tarrant, or excuse me, in 5th now. We didn't really focus on him too much. I don't know if he pitted extra early and maybe gained a ton of time on tires, but he was in the latter half of the top 10, but now he's in the top 5.
Yeah, it looks like he pitted on lap 25. He came down pit road, so a few laps earlier than everyone else.
As we can see, even those 2 laps, that was almost at one point about a 4 to 5 second lead, I believe. So that it gave LaPrade. So that is something these guys have to account for.
Yeah. Now I wonder if Briar is trying to save his tires a little more, or if Dustin is just that much quicker, because he's only got a 2.1 second lead right now.
Yeah, Dustin Johnson seems to be on rails tonight either way. He's just very consistent in his line for the most part, very consistent in the way that he's driving the race car, and he really seems to be just a lot faster in general than everyone else.
On the prime time battle tracker.
English
Johnson,
Corey.
Yes. Johnson was about 0.2 faster that last lap, and the gap, which was about 2.1 that last I checked, is now to about 1 3/4 seconds.
Yeah, right now at the line it was showing 1.9. We'll see what it is here. .79 seconds is the lead for Briar LaPrade. And the 88 is coming with Dustin.
This really makes me wonder if the 12 of Briar LaPrade is just trying to save his tires this early in the run.
Yeah, I mean, drivers are smart. I mean, we're all drivers in different disciplines of racing. You know, once you do something wrong on one run, you're going to put that in the memory bank for the next time out. So maybe the 12 realizes that, hey, I might have pushed it a little too hard out of the gate. I need to save my stuff later in the run.
Or could it just be that difference in 2 laps on his tires?
Maybe a culmination of sorts as we're taking lap number 38 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway on Primetime Racing TV's coverage of the Hardline Racing Cup Series. Again, in the booth here today is Corey Silva, Evan Black, and Brandon Krutz. Live coverage here today on Primetime. Like to see a good bunch of people watching this race. We thank you. If you haven't liked or subbed so far, we would greatly appreciate if you do so for us.
Yeah, it always helps to like the video and subscribe. You know, click that little notification bell so that way you always know when we're going live. And we'll always post on Facebook if it's an unscheduled broadcast, and we'll always send out friendly reminders, facebook.com/primetimeracing. I believe that's what it is. I forgot what our ad name is, honestly.
I will go check it right now.
PTRTV 1. We are now youtube.com/primetimeracingtv. We are now big enough that we have our own actual channel names on YouTube. So every step is a baby step. Yes. Every step is a big step.
That's an accomplishment on its own, having our own custom URL for YouTube.
But in all seriousness, folks, we took a couple months off. I mean, mainly me as the tech producer of the channel. I had some personal stuff going on, but we're ready and raring, full-blown to bring as many races to you as we can. If your league or any league that you know of is looking for some broadcasts, have them sent our way. We will do our best to accommodate. We love bringing these Friday nights to you with the Hardline Racing League, but at the moment we have 6 other nights available, so bring them on to us, guys.
Yeah, as you know, Corey and I are co-owners of the channel. We really would like to see this channel go places, and you know, if you're a league owner and you're looking to have your races broadcast for a cheaper price, you know, I think we're a pretty good solution. And you know, we bring good quality, I'd like to think, and we haven't really gotten any negative feedback, so that's good. And feedback is always welcome, folks. So we really appreciate it.
Well, it looks like we're about to have a battle for the lead.
Here it comes.
Dustin has caught Breyer.
But, there's a Ryan Newman in the middle, and we all know how that goes.
Yep, and Ryan's trying to get his lap back right now.
Ryan Newman being Tanner Allen in the 31 machine. If anybody
There,
watched
he lets him go.
the Dover Monster Energy Cup race, you would know what we were referring to there.
Now he let him go. A very good move by Tanner Allen there to just let these guys race.
That happened at Dover. Chase Elliott would have a win, but here we come off of turn number 2. Looks like a battle for the lead shaping up. Dustin Johnson has caught and is now checking the outside, and what a power move. Pulled side by side on the outside off of 4. Here we come side by side on the front straightaway.
Side by side, still coming across the start-finish line, working their way into turns 1 and 2. Leprad gives him no room on the racetrack. Now he's starting to go into his battle mode.
Yeah, Dustin's going to get a real good...
Leprad gets loose off the corner. That'll give the position to Dustin Johnson, new leader, the number 2 of Dustin Johnson, off turn 2.
I swear, guys, I said it twice already. I'll say it a third time. I'm really getting shades here of 2011 at the time Sprint Cup race. These guys, whereas Johnson and Gordon, they were wiggling, they were jiggling, they were sliding, they were doing everything because there's no grip out there. And you can tell with these guys exiting the turn, they are fighting for dear life to keep these cars facing the right way.
And it looks like we've got the 38 of Shane Terrian on pit road right now.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's scheduled or...
Well, you did say he pitted around lap 24, so it's not even half. It's not even the same run. It's actually only about a 21 lap run, if that is the case. So maybe he was just struggling that much on these tires. And I know in my time racing, sometimes I've pitted way before I wanted to. If I knew that I wasn't gonna, if I was risking the car on old tires, I didn't want to wreck. Sometimes it's just better to have fresh tires on there.
Yeah,
you know what short pitting's like.
There is no limit to how many tires these guys have, so you know sometimes it's better just to come in and get the fresh rubber, and not worth tearing up the equipment here.
But now that we have Dustin Johnson out front, we'll pretty much see if he just sails off into the sunset here, which
he's sailing off from Breyer, but not from Tanner Allen. He's coming back right now.
Yeah, it's a car that really wants to get his lap back and get back on the lead lap here. So we may have a battle, but not for the lead.
If Tanner gets out there, the smart thing for Dustin to do would probably just be to let him go. It's not for position. You don't want to get caught up in a battle with a lap car.
Like I said before, these guys, the back end still stepping out quite a bit. It's just not worth to race that closely when it's not for position, and you know, hold the risk of tearing up equipment.
Yeah, that 31, I don't know what his last pit stop was. He's already pitted twice in the race, and we know he's on fresher rubber here. But yeah, he is at the point he wants to get that lap back. If we do get a caution, that means he will be able to pit with the leaders as opposed to being stuck at the back via the lucky dog.
Yeah, it looks like he's pitted once, but I think he had a penalty. Maybe.
So while we have time here as we take lap 50 here of 166, let's go through through the field here. Your leader now is Dustin Johnson in the 2 machine. He's led 8 laps thus far. Breyer LaPrat, the pole sitter, he's led 39 laps, running in 2nd. Joshua Adams currently in 3rd. Make that 4th. And then make that Nicholas Massey now in 3rd. Thomas Bresci in the 5th position. Jonathan Wall 6th. Kyle Souza in the 7th spot. Tyler Hensley in 8th. We have Rusty Capel in 9th, and Tanner Allen rounding out the top 10.
We've got Kyle Zimmer in 11th, Travis Lonis in 12th, Shane Terrian in 13th, Robert F. Kennedy in 14th, Casey Shue in 15th, Cody Tabor in 16th, and then it looks like everyone else is not running, but we have Joel Holloway in 17th, Corey Blevins in 18th, and Dylan Pileski in 19th.
Yeah, looks like Joe Holloway, he's still in his stall. I don't know if he's fixing major damage, maybe try to get some attrition later on, but yeah, he is the last guy on the track, still available on the track, if you will.
Yeah, it looks like Blevins and Pileski have gone to the garage. They're done.
Here we go. Here I'm watching Travis Lones here. There's a Shane Tarrant on fresh tires is just trying to plow through these drivers here. You can really see here the difference in speed that new tires will give you. He just was threading the needle here, high, low, 3 wide. He needs to gain all that time back, because remember, he just pitted significantly earlier than anybody else.
Yeah, right now he's running a second to a second and a half quicker than our leader.
Leader, go ahead.
I would think Dustin will be probably hitting pit road here in about 5 laps or so, I would think.
Yeah, Briar LaPrade just coming back off of pit road now. And he'll be entering on the back straightaway, waiting for Justin Johnson to come on in. Seems like Briar is about 2 laps ahead still of what Dustin did. Dustin did not decide to short pit at all this time.
Yeah, I believe it was on 28, 27 perhaps. We saw LaPrade come in, so that's right on the track for him to run the exact same stint. And if Johnson follows suit, we should see him on lap 60. But 5 laps is that's gonna be a pretty big time loss.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, Dustin's he's staying on another lap. I think he should have probably came down that lap, but we'll see what he does here and how it works out.
Because there's the times when you have to decide, do you play your own ball game or do you go off of what your competition is doing? And it looks like he's trying to play his own ball game here, and he doesn't want to fall for the games that the other drivers may be playing with him. Off turn 4, no intention of pitting that lap, so he will take yet another one. Nicholas Massey, Nick Massey, shorthand, he is in second, running about 3 seconds behind, and we can pull up our battle tracker, and it looks like Massey was actually 3/10 faster than Johnson on that last lap.
Yeah, and going back to Briar, it looks like he's about 1.9 seconds a lap faster than Dustin, so this is going to be huge for him. Pitting out early. Yeah, and Dustin's coming down right now.
Last lap for LaPrade was a 29:56, and I believe Johnson was well over the 31-second bracket. So
it was a 40.
Oh wow, yeah.
40 flat.
Gives the lead temporarily, at least, to Massey in the 48 machine. He did lead a couple laps on the prior stint due to taking a couple laps out there to probably, I'm assuming, for points. We'll see when he comes down. Looks like he's going to come down this time by. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
4 tires and fuel, and your leader, Dustin Johnson, is off.
Does the 48 machine. I don't know if that's going to give him a penalty or not.
Yeah, looks like everyone has hit pit road now. Jonathan Wall was a little hot getting down pit road. I think he might have got a speeding penalty.
So now we have to play the ball game that we played last time. The 12 machine is now in 3 and 4, and Johnson is now entering 3. So a whole corner behind is Johnson, but he's going to eat that up with those about 4 or 5 lap pressure tires.
Yeah, we'll see what lap he turns here in 30 seconds or so.
He has about a 4.6 second gap to eliminate on Briar LaPrade, which you have to remember, he was significantly ahead of his competition, but just on tires alone, he lost almost a better part of 10 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like Jonathan Wall did get a penalty for speeding. But with how that cycled through, that puts Shane Terrian in second right now.
Remember, he pitted on, what was it, 45, so he is on a much different pit strategy than anybody else. I think he's just trying to keep the best rubber on those tires as he can, and just maybe praying for a caution to try to get equalized up.
Shane Taryn, he had a major blinking problem, internet issue last week, and it looks like it's carrying over to this week. He is all over the place, blinking in and out, warping all over the track. He actually had to pull out, and that's probably what lost the race for him last week, was he had to pull out of the pack, and he ended up losing the draft. Yeah, he's blinking real bad
right now.
See him in hashtag frog mode here, just hopping about all over the turns 3 and 4, and it's probably going to scare the #1 machine of Wall as he gets by.
Hashtag frog mode, that's a new one.
Yeah.
Copyright Corey Silva 2017.
Dustin's about a half second quicker than Breyer right now. He's going to be on his back bumper here soon.
As Johnson passes Taryn in the 38, he's giving himself as much of a buffer as he can to avoid any kind of net coating incident. And he gets by successfully.
15 lap pressure tires, that's what I'll do.
And we had just spoke about a 4.5 second gap. That gap is now already down to 2.8.
Yeah, Dustin is so much faster right now. Just on his 5, that's what 5 laps is right now.
Battle tracker up, this a 30.05 to a 30.17 to a 29.83. So that's about 3.5, maybe 4-ish tenths right there.
Yeah, he's down to 2.6 seconds right now at the line.
You can really see Laprade entering 3. It's kind of an approach you see more on a road course or a short track. He's really taken an extremely high entry, but then cutting it all the way to the white line on corner exit.
Yeah, kind of doing a late apex. Which, like you said, is usually stuff you see in road racing or short track racing.
But the traditional drift there off turn 2, nearly every single lap for the 12. But here he comes. You can see he's almost entering the 3rd lane, but as he gets closer to the exit of the turn, cuts it right back down to the 1st lane.
Oh, and he gets real loose again.
Something
he's gonna lose a lot of time.
Yeah, something these drivers will like to do is you always want to get a straight shot off the turn. So if you are really, really loose, anything you can do to straighten that car up on exit will potentially minimize getting even looser.
Yeah, it's down to probably only a 1.5 seconds right now.
But coming up, there's going to be some lap traffic ahead of Laprade and Johnson relatively soon. We have Kyle Zimmer, Tyler Hensley. They're coming off turn 2 right now, and our leaders are on the same straightaway. Here comes Jonathan Wall trying to get a lap back here underneath 12, and he successfully does so. So put the 1 back onto the lead lap.
Yeah, he had a penalty, so he lost a lot of track position during that last green flag stop.
Guys, are you as impressed as I am that we are on lap 68 and the pace car has yet to make an appearance in this race?
Yeah, we're just got a little under 100 laps to go and no cautions. That's pretty good.
You guys underestimate these guys. I felt like we were going to go green at least to the halfway point in this race.
Yeah, no disrespect to anybody in the hardline racing. I think we're just so hard-coded on iRacing, on official racing and NIS and long races and such. No disrespect to anybody, but they're usually always wreckfest. So it is kind of a breath of fresh air when you have some guys that can really just kind of
battle for the lead.
Play a race out. As you said, off turn 2 here. Side-by-side battle for the lead, and these guys got to watch out because there is some heavy lap traffic ahead of them. 3 vehicles they will have to navigate. But
and Dustin easily gets the lead.
The 2 makes a power move going into turn 3, clears the 12, and will not have to worry about the lap traffic going through the lap traffic side by side.
I would expect to see Breyer on pit road here in the next 5 laps. It's been about 20 since he's pitted.
About 28 and what was it, about 55? So
For Breyer, it was 26 and 51, I believe, or 52.
that would be about, yeah, 18 laps. So maybe by about lap 78, 79, but he's going to have to duke it out a little bit longer at the very least.
Yeah, I kind of think he'll come down around lap 75 or so, just so he can kind of stay on this strategy and get back out ahead of Dustin.
LaPrade in the second position. He is now on circuit entering turn 3. Joshua Adams is exiting turn 2, so he has a ton of time to play with here. He is pretty much in his own little world here in the second position. These guys are very spread out here on circuit. As I said, Adams, he is hitting the start-finish line in third. Bresci is coming off turn 4, so that's about about 4 or 5 seconds. And then another about 5 seconds back to 5th. So these guys are really just really spread out amongst the speedway.
Yeah, right now I think this is Dustin's race to lose. He's got the best car.
Top 5, as we said, is Johnson, LaPrade, Adams, Bresci, and Souza. We've gone 72 laps out of 166, all clean and green, 7 lead changes, primarily due to pit stops, but there's been a couple battles on the racetrack that we've had to talk about. But yeah, right now it's just who's going to make that draw that next blood and decide to come to pit lane first. I wouldn't expect Johnson any earlier than about maybe 87, 88, but I'd have to imagine, as you said, Evan, that LaPrade's going to have to draw blood early.
Yeah, he's going to have to pit real soon. I think Dustin will probably be in around, yeah, like you said, 88 or so.
So these guys all spread out here throughout the entire field now. Kind of got a vortex going around the track now. And these guys, long green flag run here. They could, I don't want to jinx it, but they could make it to the halfway point without a caution, which would be impressive in itself.
Yeah, they only have around 5 or probably about 8 laps to go before halfway.
Lap 83 is our halfway point in this race. So, yeah, they're almost
7
there.
laps.
Well, we have a little bit of gap here. Brandon, how about you do our catch off guard, our primetime sponsor plugs?
I will pull those up. So, Air Movement Fabrications, a long-time sponsor with us, Nottingham's choice for custom signs, designs, repairs, and all things metal. Visit them online at airmovefabs.co.uk or find them on Facebook. Air Movement Fabrications, an official partner with Primetime Racing TV. Also, overlay graphics for this channel, brought to you by myself, Krutz Custom Graphics. Custom racing shirts, hero cards, paint schemes, and much more. From local racers to big race teams, we have your back. Based out of upstate New York, Krutz Custom Graphics is the motorsports design specialist, also an official partner with Primetime Racing TV.
And there we go. The bills have been paid.
So these guys, just a couple more laps until the halfway point here, and I'm sure just a few more laps until these guys start heading on to pit road.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised Breyer hasn't hit pit road yet.
Yeah, let's go here on the battle tracker. We can see the lap difference again. Let's see, last time by, waiting for this to update, looks like a 30.86 to a 31.34, so a full half second faster. So Pratt has to account for that. He's losing a half second a lap right now to the leader, and that gap is now pushing 5 seconds.
Looks like Breyer is coming down pit road right now.
And a much more conservative entry than we've seen him in the past. So obviously, I don't know if he's scared himself or just kind of learned what to do on the pit entry here, what it takes. But nice smooth stop here, and we'll see how this shakes out and when that cues Johnson to pull on the pit lane.
Yeah, he's staying out another lap right now.
So Dustin Johnson, I expect him to stay out for at least a couple more laps here. Worked out for him every time so far, so I expect him to keep in the same rhythm.
So,
yeah, I think about around lap 85 or so he'll be hitting pit road.
So far, we've seen kind of the same sequence to play. It's always been LaPrat pitting first, then we'll see Johnson and Adams usually come in, and then Nick Massey in the 48 has always managed to lead a couple laps before he eventually usually being the last car to pit.
Cross flags go in the air this time by halfway in the 166 lap event here tonight.
Halfway, we managed to do this in less than an hour. These guys are really just clicking this race off here. As we said, clean and green thus far. A lot of pit strategy, a lot of hard racing, a lot of loose race cars, and now we can see a lot of lines moving around. Look at this dynamic track working.
Gotta give major props to iRacing for this.
Yeah, absolutely. The multi-groove racing and moving around the different grooves, you know, obviously iRacing really did this as a lead up for dirt racing, but for the asphalt side, it really helps things out. Obviously, it's way more dramatic on dirt than it is for the asphalt side, but these guys moving all over the track trying to find a little bit of grip that they can.
See here, as we're on board, the leader saw some rubber flying up into the windshield there. Again, another part of this dynamic track with the marbles, which will be building up here as they've had no time to be cleaned. On the gyro cam, you can really see the steep 24-degree banking here. And as the leader is trying to put a lap down, Jonathan Wall, which would only leave 3 drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, it looks like Joshua Adams has hit pit road, and it looks like he might have hit the inside pit road wall while going into his box.
In comes your leader, Dustin Johnson. He will make his way into pit road, locks him up just a little bit, but he did make it.
And then we'll have to see how this shakes out. We'll watch the 48. I know, as I said, I know he's usually stayed out a little bit extra compared to everybody else.
Yeah, we got 24 on pit road right now, as well as the leader. 24 is coming out of pit road right now.
And away goes Dustin Johnson. He exits pit road now and will make his way back onto the racing surface. And
yeah, Breyer's not going to have as big of a lead this time as he had last time.
No, absolutely not.
He's just now getting by him.
Yeah,
So that'll be probably no problem for Dustin Johnson to catch him this time by.
Yeah, we'll have to wait till they both cross the stripe to get some kind of a live interval, but
Nick Massey on pit road right now.
At the 48, as we've said, he's been kind of getting those extra couple laps. Who knows? It could work out in his favor at the end of the race. Just maybe pushing those couple extra laps every time.
Looks like Jonathan Wall right now is the only one that has not pitted in this cycle. Shane pitted quite a few laps ago.
It's almost hard now as we've gone green for so long, and with all the different pitting cycles and who's coming early, who's staying late. It's almost hard to remember who's on what strategy.
Yeah. Be kind of nice to get a caution so we get everyone back on the same strategy. It makes it easier for us.
What fun would that be if we if we actually had an easy job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, almost contact between a lap car and LaPrade. Looks like the 8 car almost made contact with your leader. That
Yeah, the 8
really
of Travis
cost
Willis.
him a lot of ground.
And here comes the 2. The 2 has, oh, they got to get by the warper of Terran, but here comes Johnson.
That's
with
gotta
the
be
rocket,
scary.
with the rocket ships on, he is just. You'd think he has 30 lap pressure tires. Here he comes to the outside, off of turn 2, side by side, and I don't think LaPrade's going to put up any fight whatsoever. Let's see as they enter 3 and 4.
Side by side, going into turns number 3 and 4 for the lead. Little bit of a fight from the bottom from LaPrade. Dustin Johnson up top. They come side by side down the front stretch still.
And LaPrade, unlike what I expected, he's not giving up. Kind of slid up the track a little bit there, about a lane or so. Just probably getting tight in the heat of the bottom groove, but he will sacrifice the lead, give it to Johnson, and turn 3.
Yep. Everyone has pitted so far, so everything's cycled through.
Now it's just a matter of this early in the run. This is the soonest into a pit stint that we've seen the 2 take the lead. So honestly, Lord knows how big this lead is going to be for the next cycle.
Dustin has done an amazing job so far in this race.
But we're going to take this opportunity while we are clean and green and cycles have gone through. We're going to go to a quick green flag side-by-side commercial break on Prime Time. We'll be with you very soon. And we're back here on Prime Time after that short commercial break. Dustin Johnson is still your leader, and at this point that lead has amassed itself to about 2.5 seconds over LaPrade.
Yeah, I see in our chat that we have a question asking if we like constant green or multiple cautions. What do you think of it, Corey?
It's kind of a battle of two evils, if you will. As a broadcaster, you kind of like a mix of the two. As a driver, I'm loving what I'm seeing here, especially if I'm the 2.
Yeah, I agree. If I'm a driver, I like long green flag runs, especially if I'm in such a good position as the 2. But for broadcasting, I like a mixture of both.
At the moment, we have 8 drivers currently on the lead lap, those being obviously your leader. You have the next position, second of LaPrade, Shane Tarrin, Joshua Adams in 4th, Thomas Bresci in 5th, Nick Massey in 6th, Robert Kenny in 7th, and then last car on the lead lap is Kyle Souza in 8th. It's been very hard to track that because so many guys have been pitting on different cycles, on different laps, short pitting and such. It's really been throwing off these intervals in position, so it's going to just be a matter at the end of the race to see whose strategy puts him where.
Yeah, absolutely, Corey, and we've seen it already. You know, in the first half of this race, everyone just gets so all over the place during these green flag pit stops.
Yeah, right now we are, and again, I'm going to have to kind of dig on you guys for a little bit. So the leader pitted around lap 90 or so. Is that about right? Ish, give or take?
He pitted on lap 84.
Oh, so even
Or
earlier.
85.
So he's
85.
15. So he's about 15 laps in his cycle, which is effectively halfway through a run for Johnson. So we're going to expect him on about 110 to 115, which would mean another stop around lap 150. So about 2 more stops if this does stay clean and green.
Yeah, for Breyer or for Dustin and Breyer, he pitted on lap 80. So maybe around lap 105 to 110, and then lap 145-ish probably. That's what I would think.
Evan Black being the crew chief of the bunch here on Prime Time. Get the notepad out, I think, with all these pit laps, it seems like.
Yeah.
Boy, it does make for a confusing broadcast for us, though, because we've got to calculate all this stuff.
I think while you were, I think, on a little bit of a break there, Brandon, we had a question in chat that we answered. Interesting to get your take. GOM in chat asked, do we like constant green racing, or do we prefer some multiple cautions? As broadcasters, I think he asked it.
Well, I think I came back. You said that, you know, we like a little bit of both. You know, obviously the long green flag laps are really nice because we see a lot of strategy, but, you know, a caution every now and then is also good just to stack up the field and, you know, get these guys close together.
Yep, so LaPrade on lap 102 is on pit road. Do we think this is scheduled, or actually we see some right side damage to that machine?
Yeah, it's been there for a couple laps now. Or quite a few laps, actually.
I didn't realize it was that significant. But,
Looks like he got it on lap 88 or so.
Again, Evan knowing every single lap. Thank you for being in the booth with us today. But
You're
regardless
welcome.
of such, a little bit of blinking there off turn 2, but regardless of such, I think this is a lot earlier than any of us were expecting for him.
Yeah, it's about 5 laps earlier or so than I would have thought.
So this puts up a huge lead for Dustin Johnson right now, excuse me, and we won't be seeing him for another few laps now.
Yeah, he is now 14 seconds. Yes, 14 seconds ahead of Joshua Adams for in second position right now.
Yeah, Breyer had to do something because he was around 5 to 6 seconds back from Dustin. He had to do something out of the box if he wanted to make that up.
We have not seen this, well, I haven't seen this in quite some time, but there is a possibility, depending on how the strategies work, that Dustin Johnson laps his field.
Yeah.
Well, to put 14 seconds into perspective, folks, that's about half a track. 14 seconds here at Atlanta is about half a track. These guys run about 28, 29 second laps. So that's...
Yeah. Joshua Adams is just coming off turn 4 right now. Dustin Johnson is off of turn 2. So as we said, half of a lap. Now obviously with LaPrade, he is kind of skewing that with his stop, but he was about 5 to 6 seconds back prior to his stop. So that's still a very big chunk of change. As we said earlier in the race, a lot of times here at Atlanta, it's as hard of a track as it is. The leader, if you have that setup on and you're in your rhythm, you just walk away with the race. And that's exactly what that number 2 machine is doing.
Yeah, he is on rails tonight, guys, and it's showing it quite well right now.
With Breyer pitting when he did, can he make it on one more stop is what I'm wondering.
It'll be cutting it close.
What did he
It'll
pit
be
on
very
lap
close.
10? Oh, what's our lap statistician?
About lap 100 he pitted.
Thank you, statistician. So if he pit on lap 100, I think he's going to need a splash and go. I don't see any way unless he really backs the pace down, I can't see any way he's going to go that on 2 stops.
Yeah, I see in chat Cody Tabor, who was one of the drivers, said fuel window is 30 to 35 laps.
Was one of the drivers. Oh yeah, Cody Tabor is no longer driving. His car is in the pits.
So if he can make it 32 to 33 laps, he can make it on one more stop.
So that is that's interesting.
Yeah, but that would be what, about 8 to 10 laps longer than he's really done at any point in this race,
Yeah.
and he'd have to do that twice. So I don't think that's going to be in the cards for him. But again, we will have to see. That's why we race.
And if a caution comes out, everything we just said means absolutely nothing, pretty much.
But let's put that into perspective right now, guys. We have 4 cars on the lead lap now: Johnson, Adams, Bresci, and Massey. So if we have a caution, can you even take the wave around with tire wear and how this race is played out, or do you have to pit and just sacrifice that lap?
I think you're going to have to pit unless you want to come home with a wrecked race car, guys.
You're gonna have to pray that there's another quick caution. Caution breeds caution. But if that doesn't happen, you're probably in a worse boat than you were if you just pitted the first time.
Yeah, with how this race has gone so far, I don't know if I would think that there'd be more than 1 or 2 yellows, and those yellows definitely won't come together.
It's about time for another through the field here. So again, your leader, 53 laps led. He's just surpassed Briar LaPrade, who's led 50. So, oh, and here he comes. We will hold off on that through the field after pit stops. Whoa, a little bit of a loose entry there.
I don't know if he made it or not on speed.
I don't think he did.
Do you guys know what the pit road speed limit is here?
I believe it's 50. It's either 45.
I don't know how accurate my telemetry is there, because they're kind of hovering 54, 55 on my telemetry, but I do not think that's as accurate as...
He was going 54 at the line. He may have made it, guys.
Yeah,
It's going to be close.
If you do slow down immediately and kind of jack on the brakes...
Yeah, he's pulling away. He made it. That was very close call.
That was about as close as you can get.
That probably scared him a little bit.
Which is surprising, because I'm going to give flashbacks. I mean, I don't even know if you guys will remember this race. Juan Pablo Montoya was at Indianapolis one race. I think it was about 2011 or so, 2010. He was dominating, absolutely dominating. And on the last pit stop, he sped on pit entry. But there's times where if you're leading with this big of a lead, do you even need to approach the pit entry that aggressively? I mean, wouldn't you think going maybe 46, 47 just to play it safe, just because you don't want to potentially blow the race?
Well, Dustin just now got right back by Briar, so Briar is gonna fall way off now. I really don't think he should have risked going down pit road that fast. He should have probably backed it up a little bit, but it ended up working out.
Yeah, if it works, it works. But I mean, sometimes I know me, I'm a little more conservative. I don't want to whip it on the edge. But if it works and that's what you got to do, maybe that's why I don't win as many races.
Yeah, if you got a 15-second lead, I would think you would just want to back it down and just don't speed.
So, given how this has played out now, where obviously LaPrade pitted significantly early, whether it just became damage or just trying to play something off, it's not working anymore. He's literally only ahead of Johnson for about 1 or 2 laps before that lead is passed. So at this point, I don't think even strategy is going to get you the lead now. It's just...
Yeah, if there's no caution, I would say Dustin's going to win this race, just from how everything's gone so far.
Massey is the only one who's on pit road right now. He is the only one that's been able to kind of take the lead on just pitting by coming a couple laps late. He's the only one that's been able to kind of take the lead during green flag cycle.
Yeah.
Put this into perspective, guys. Even if Dustin Johnson were to speed on pit road the next time he pits, he will be getting out of pit road just in time for him to retake the lead with the speed that he had.
Yeah, he will be fine. He could, as long as he just gets 1 penalty, he's fine. Because it's going to be a 15-second, and that's the lead he had. And probably by next pit stop, it'll be a 20-second lead.
15 seconds is more. Sorry to cut you off, Corey. 15 seconds is just more than half a track lead now.
But we do have to remember, if you have a if you're stuck in your box for an extra 15 seconds, these guys are going to put more than 15 seconds of time on you while you're stuck there in the box. So 15 seconds.
That's a good point.
In the pits is probably equal
yeah.
to about a minute on the maybe 45 seconds on the track.
And that's kind of why I said with the speed that he had, because we've seen him make up a ton of ground already, and we know that he has the fastest car out here. So, you know, it's just a what-if situation.
Yeah, right now he's got a 20-second lead over Joshua Adams in 4th, and he's probably going to cycle through to 2nd here soon with how much Breyer has fallen off.
So lap 117 here, taking one lap 118 in the books. Dustin Johnson is once again your leader. We'll kind of do that through the field now that we probably tried to do earlier. So again, as we've said multiple times, and we'll probably say multiple times more, Johnson is your leader. LaPrade in 2nd, Shane Tarrant in 3rd, Joshua Adams in 4th, Thomas Bressi in 5th, Nick Massey in 6th, Robert Kenny in 7th, Kyle Souza in 8th, Tyler Hensley in 9th, and rounding out your top 10 is Jonathan Wall.
Rounding out the top 10 is Casey Shue. Jonathan Wall's in 11th.
Well, my graphic is wrong.
Well, now it just now updated. So your graphic is correct. Caution on the racetrack.
This changes everything. Car up into the wall.
Travis
is the number 8.
Lonis. I think I'm trying to say
This
that right.
changes everything. Throw everything that we literally just talked about out the window,
Let's
guys.
just dust off the old primetime replay because it hasn't been touched once today, and let's see what happened to the number 8 machine.
Even if they pit now, they're gonna have to pit again because they can't make it from here.
Yeah, 46 laps is well. Oh, he just got loose off of turn 2, and then while
Looked like he got back into the throttle too early after trying.
Yeah.
You know what he did?
He turned right.
He downshifted to try to get the car going again, and it shot the car to the right, and he overcorrected and overcorrected again after hitting, well, he overcorrected, hit the inside wall, and then shot up the racetrack.
Yeah, I don't think he downshifted. I think he just got on the gas too soon and was turning it to the right to get back up to the wall.
Yeah, exactly. As on edge as these things are, turning it to the right is, I mean, an oval car is not meant to turn to the right, so that's how that ended for him.
Yeah, he was just on the throttle and turning to the right with probably killed rear tires already.
Yeah. You guys are right. He tried to get back on the throttle too early, and then yeah, didn't work out too well.
And pit stops are underway.
Yep, and we do have, I believe, 8 cars on the lead lap now. The way that's cycled out, so that's actually pretty good for the race, anyways. But yeah, Dustin Johnson enters his stall cleanly, and we'll see what these guys can do, all back on the same strategy.
Yeah, and everyone's going to have to pit one more time after this, so we'll see if short pitting comes into play with that. Breyer is going to win the race off pit road.
So let's, who do we have available to talk to, guys? Let's see, we don't unfortunately have LaPrade, I believe.
Nor do we have Johnson.
How about Shane?
We do have Shane Tarrant.
Alright, anyone want to, let's grab Shane Tarrant. Shane Tarrant, PTRTV, you got a copy?
I got you.
So, 121 laps, green flag racing here. We saw tons of pit strategy with people coming in early, staying late, getting loose. How was that race for you thus far?
I don't know about lose. It's been really tight for me, but this caution definitely saved me. That's for sure.
We had seen you come to pit road early sometimes, at least from what we can tell. What was your kind of cycle on pits? A lot of guys were about 30 laps, 20 laps. What were you kind of aiming for on your pit stops?
I was doing about 25 laps, 5 laps before you go empty, and then just kind of hoping for a caution, and I got it.
Yeah, so now that everyone's grouped back together, how does this change how you look at the race? Do you feel like you might be, I mean, Johnson's kind of in his own area code, but do you think you have something for maybe to get second?
I have no idea. Those two are really good, so we'll have to see.
All right, man. Well, you're in third. You got that caution you liked, so good luck with it, and we'll be watching you.
Thank you.
So interesting to hear him say that he's actually been tight. Maybe, I mean, I could actually kind of see that because you guys will know, when you are tight, you have so much wheel input that a lot of times that will get you loose on exit. Perhaps that's what's happening to some of these guys.
Yeah, especially in
Yeah.
1 and 2, it looks like they're a little tight in the center and entering and then loose off. I probably just have a little too much wheel into it trying to get it to turn.
And exactly, and when it does turn, you have so much wheel into it that you're just along for the ride.
Looks like we have a couple people taking the way around. Tanner Allen and Cody Tabor.
I wish them good luck.
Well, Cody Tabor is 47 laps down at this point, so don't think it's going to be any significance for him, but it's still something. And then who else do we have?
Tanner Allen, the 31.
Yeah, the 31, this will put him on the lead lap, so he's, don't know exactly when his last pit stop was, but he's going to be hoping that this race kind of has a caution flag vibe to it, and that he's not one of them.
Well, the good old saying, caution bring cautions, still could come into play here, as lights on the pace car are now off, and your leader chooses the inside line for the restart.
Yep, that being LaPrade, and we know that he can, well, at least on the opening stint, he was able to pull out there, so with the track the way it is and how the race has progressed, let's see if he can maybe make those short runs work, because if he is able to, this race may actually be in his favor.
And with going back to Tanner Allen, it looks like his last pit stop was around lap 105 or so. So he can only go about 10 more laps, I would think. 10, 15 laps. He's just going to be praying for another caution.
So, pace car makes the hard left turn down in pit
Green
road
flag,
once
green
again
flag.
here. And these guys back on the gas. Green flag back in the air.
3 wide for the lead here as LaPrade did not get going, and Shane Tarrant was ready and raring to go. He takes second position here, and back to third, maybe fourth is LaPrade.
These guys all over the place on the restart, fanning out down the back straightaway. They're 3 wide for the third position.
It's a sandwich. It's LaPrade. It's Adams. It's Johnson. No, I'm sorry, Bresci. That has kind of situated out into 2 wide. Luckily, these guys do not want to be 3 wide. Atlanta, while there's room for it, it's not where you want to be.
Huge wiggle for LaPrade off of turn 2, but he keeps his traction.
The 38 is doing a really nice job staying with Dustin right now. He's right on his back bumper.
Whoa, here we
and
go.
Oh, LaPrade!
All right, man,
Into the
caution
inside
is out,
wall.
caution is
Multi-car
out.
wrecked on the back straightaway. This is the big one at Atlanta.
Not things that we usually say, big one at Atlanta, but I mean, as these guys, as we were saying, they were running really hard on that restart, and there's not enough grip to support what these guys were doing. So let's go back on replay and see what happened here. We're on the blimp cam. We are coming through turns 1 and 2, focusing on the 24 of Bresci. I believe that's where it started off turn 2.
Bresci scraped the wall, and he had so much wheel into it trying to get
into
off
the 12, killed LaPrade, into the 1 of Wall, into the 20 of Zimmer. I believe I see the 10 of Kenny sliding.
Hard hit for a couple of these guys, and I think a couple of these guys have called it quits.
Tanner Allen barely snuck by. Remember, he took the wave round. I think he got by clean, but he didn't get
That's
by.
a lucky break for Tanner.
But you can see the 24 is, I mean, he looks like a modified right now. He has no front end on that thing. Robert Kenny in the 10 machine, he has no front end on that. Yeah, a lot of good guys taken out of it, but the
Looks
leader...
like Jonathan Wall has brought it behind the wall, and he's done for the night.
We went about 110 laps approximately, 120 laps with no caution, and now we've had 2 in the course of 10 minutes now.
So they went 2 laps, and they're on pit road for tires. Except for Robert Kennedy, he is staying out on the racetrack.
Perhaps just to lead a lap, because as we can see looking at that vehicle is not going to win the race.
Oh yeah, he has quite a bit of damage. I did not see that.
Yeah, I think quite a bit is a little bit of an understatement.
It's kind of hard to see front end damage from the rear chase cam, or front chase cam.
Yeah, the radiator fully exposed. He has no front end to that vehicle at all, and the 4 machine is who's behind the pace car. Casey Shu sees some significant left front damage to that, as well as left rear.
At least Robert Kenny's probably not going to have any temperature problems. All the air is going to that radiator.
I guess there's a silver lining, if you want to call it that. So that's going to leave. We'll wait for it to cycle around and see who's left.
Looks like the 2 did win the race off pit road with the 38 in second. And yeah, the 10's coming down pit road now as we expected, as well as the 4.
So just probably getting that bonus point. Well, knowing he's out of the race, probably just getting that bonus point. So as they cross the stripe, let's see who we have left, and let's kind of see what people's cars look like to know who's still going to be in this. We have Dustin Johnson, obviously your leader. Shane Tarrant is in second. Tyler Hensley in third.
He was a lap down at one point, and he's coming back in this.
Kyle Souza running in fourth. Tanner Allen, remember the wave around, lucked out with that quick caution, getting fresh set of tires now, is in fifth. And then Joshua Adams, I think
he does have some damage. Some right side damage.
Yeah, but I think he should be able to run pretty decently with what he has. Obviously,
probably not going to be able to contend for a win again, so I think only the top 6 realistically have a shot right now.
Kenny is, I mean, we don't need to talk much about that. We can see what's going on with him. Rusty Capel, pretty significant left front damage. Hood's in the air. But that's really about the extent of his damage. Probably some aero damage, but at least it looks like it'll be driving straight.
Yeah, Bressy's in the modified now.
Casey Shu, as we said, left front damage. LaPrade he has no rear end to that machine. Shame, that's an absolute shame for LaPrade. He probably wasn't going to win this race. I mean, Johnson's kind of, it's his to lose, as we said, but he had a top 2, top 3 car, and absolute shame for him.
Right now, I don't know if I'd really say it's Johnson's to lose, because Shane was hanging with him before that caution came out really well.
And as we just talked to Taryn, he didn't really show much confidence to be able to do anything with the 2. He kind of just didn't really know what to expect with what he had, it sounded like, so who knows? As we said, right now it's going to be 36 laps to the end, which is absolutely on the edge of a fuel window if you're saving. So
Jonathan Wall and Briar LaPrade pull their cars behind the wall. They are done for the night.
Guys, does anybody try to make this to the end if we do actually go green?
They will need to save just a little bit, I would think.
But does short pitting outrun saving fuel? Something to watch out for.
I do not believe so, but there's a possibility of it.
I'm not sure if they can make it on fuel at all. To be honest with you guys, still got about we got over about 36 laps to go as these guys are about to go green.
Yeah, we should have 37.
Green flag.
So green flag back in the air here, and these guys are underway once again, going down into turn number 1.
Yeah, Shane did not get the restart he was looking for. He's going to fall back to 3rd right now, maybe even 4th.
Tyler Hensley, have not spoke much about him at all, but we now see him with the way this race is shaken out in 2nd. But Taryn is fighting back for that position as we're side by side entering 3 and 4.
Making their way onto the front straightaway now.
A little bit of a wiggle there from the 5.
Way back up to 2nd, going down through the quad oval down into turn number 1.
Joshua Adams, who was the one that said he would not be contending, because he seems to have a pretty fast car even with that minor damage. So all of a sudden we go from a 15-second lead for Johnson to he's going to have to watch his mirrors.
Yeah, and I see in chat Jonathan Wall says they cannot make it on the fuel. They can do about 25 laps.
So I was going off of the original guest Cody Tabor gave us of 35 laps, but obviously that that estimate is no longer accurate, so it'll be a matter of how short do you pit. Watch, here we come for the lead off of turn 2. Almost
I think
took
he had to check up a little bit so that he wouldn't get into the back of Dustin.
Either Taryn made a setup change, found something, or now he has his time to shine, but he is absolutely going for it here. on Dustin Johnson, which nobody has really done since the opening stages of the race.
Yeah, Taryn has found some speed in his race machine right now, and he has put up a challenge for your longtime leader now, Dustin Johnson.
We'll bust out the battle tracker here. Last time by, let's see what the intervals were. They were basically a dead even, 51 for Johnson to a 52 for Taryn. This last time by, Johnson had him by a hair, but still, if you're in the ballpark of Johnson, you're doing something right.
Yeah, and since they can't make it on fuel, when do they pit?
I mean, I think you have to you just have to split the difference, so maybe around 145, maybe, something like that, 145 to 150.
Yeah, Jonathan is saying now that you can get around 28 if you save. So no way they can make it right now.
So if 28 is a stretch, yeah, like you said, that would leave them about 10 laps short of the finish. So I don't think you're going to want to run the tank dry. You're going to want to pit early because you know someone is going to try to maximize short pitting on tires. It's just a matter of who and when. And that's why we are here. That's why we race, and that's why you got to stick with us to the finish here on Primetime Racing TV's live coverage of the Hardline Racing Cup Series here. 30 laps to go, and we have a fight for the lead, which we have not really seen all day, but it's heating up here at the end.
This one could be a nail-biter all the way to the checker flag now, as Shane Taryn right on the back bumper still of your leader, Dustin Johnson.
Taking that high approach on the entry of 3, and then, as we said, cutting to the exit off 4, trying to see if that gives him a run down the front straightaway. It seems like it is, and now let's see how he can manage 1 and 2. Again, running about a lane higher is he than Johnson. Let's see what that equates to down the back straightaway. It looks like they are breaking about even right now with their approaches.
Yeah, it kind of looks like right now the bottom is the place to be.
And another question is, how much tire are these guys using? Is Taryn using up his stuff to try to keep up with Dustin Johnson?
I would say use all the tire because you're going to be pitting here in probably 5 to 10 laps.
Yeah, as Evan said, we had about a 37-lap sprint to the end, which means that at most you're probably going to only run about 18 laps as opposed to the normal 25-ish. So, like you said, all the more reason to use what you got.
And I wonder if anyone's going to short pit even more and maybe pit with 25 to go. Someone like Joshua Adams or Tyler Hensley.
Yeah, as we've been focusing on this lead, we'll kind of go back to it if something happened. Adams, he's not in the battle exactly, but he's not far off. He's only about a second, 1.2 back. Then we have Tyler Hensley about 4 seconds back here in the 4th spot.
Something with Hensley, he is clutching it in the corners. He is saving fuel. He might even be turning it off in the corners.
Last lap for Hensley was a 30.89, and we will let you know that Johnson ran a 29.8. So a full second slower is Hensley. I don't know if it's possible to save 10 laps, but perhaps Hensley is trying, or he knows something that we don't.
Hensley's clutching it in, going into every corner.
I think he's trying to pull some sort of Austin Dillon miracle right now.
I mean,
yeah.
Back in the 70s in NASCAR, I don't remember who it was, but they said you have to have a certain size fuel tank, but they didn't say how long of a fuel hose you could have in that car. So some guy had a very, very, very long fuel hose, but the fuel tank was the right size, and he ended up having a lot more fuel than anybody else. Loophole. I don't think that's the case with Tyler Hensley, but
yeah,
if he's going to make it, that car is going to have to go to the iRacing support after this race.
The iRacing tech shop. There it is.
iRacing R&D shop, if that car makes it.
Got to check to see how long the fuel, or how big the fuel tank is, and how long the hose is.
But as we go back, Kyle Souza, he is 12 seconds back in 5th. He is also running about 31-second laps. Not sure what his pace was prior, as we really haven't focused too much on him, but Oh, we can listen to him. He's also clutching it.
Yeah, he's saving even more than
Yeah.
Tyler is right now.
He had the car turned off from the entry of 3 till the center. It's kind of interesting now. We're just literally listening to see who is letting off the gas and who's going full bore. We know who's going full bore.
There's 3 guys right now.
So do those guys think that they can make it all the way to the end on fuel?
They're gonna try.
They must if they're gonna try to save.
Based on these guys in chat, they're not even close. But I mean, I don't think. I mean, these guys have been racing all night. They know what they can do, or at least I'm sure they think they know what they can do. So that's why we have to stay tuned for 22 more laps. But looks like, as I think Brandon, you said, he's probably wore out his stuff is Shane Taryn, because he's now dropped off about a second.
Yeah, right now it's kind of split. 3 guys are going hard and 3 guys are saving.
We're going to go on board here just because I want to really see. I mean, unfortunately, we can't see the RPMs work live, but actually, yes, we can. I have an RPM gauge. We're going to watch Tyler Hensley here. He's coming off turn 2 here, getting very
It's
loose. And I don't think he's full throttle, but is he letting someone pass? And there
Shane
it goes.
Tarian is on pit road.
And there it goes. You could hear Hensley off until the center. The car is completely off. But who was that on pit road?
Shane Tarian is on pit road.
Taryn on pit road here with 20 laps to go. Now, how soon does this draw Dustin Johnson to pit road? We're going to watch the stop, and you guys let me know if Johnson is coming by this time, and we'll try to see. I feel like
Johnson
he has
is
to
hitting pit road.
He has to.
Johnson is coming in.
Oh my God! Oh my
sideways on
God!
the road.
Did he speed?
Well, let's see.
He came in hot as
A hot
something
thing.
that's.
He was going
the sun.
58 at the line.
That's gonna be close. That is gonna be close. I
He
saw
may
him.
have gotten away with it, guys.
I saw him enter, and I said that was the hardest entry I've seen in a while. So
We're going to see here.
if he stays in the box after that left jack drops, he had a penalty.
He's good.
He's gone. He cut it closer that time than I've seen in a long time.
We've thought he's been riding a razor edge all race. Well, that razor just got sharpened.
Yeah.
But let's see here. Where is Taryn?
Shane's going to get by him.
But not by. Actually, is he?
He's going to get by him, just barely.
Well, he got really
Or
loose
is
off the
he?
corner there.
Just barely. And you have to remember, it's only a 1 lap difference on tires, so that should be pretty negligible. So it's going to be a matter of, with 19 to go, can Johnson eat that gap away? And it does look like a couple of the guys who thought they could make it chose to come to pit lane.
Yeah, Tyler Hensley has hit pit road, but Kyle Souza right now is staying on the track and saving fuel.
Tanner Allen as well. So Taryn is what we think to be your eventual leader, is in third, but unless something, maybe perhaps a caution comes out, maybe these guys are looking on that on the next 8 laps before they absolutely have to pit.
I think they're just going to try and make it, but I do not believe they can.
Pull the RPM gauge up for the 31 of Allen, and he's not really saving.
I think he thinks he's saving, but he's not saving as much as Kyle.
Yeah, Tanner Allen, he's only going to about 7,500 RPMs, and as we saw earlier with Hensley, who was literally shutting the machine off for a quarter of the turn. We're going to follow telemetry on Souza here, who's now exiting turn 4. 16 laps to go on the board. And he's not saving nearly as much. I think these guys realize that, I mean, you might save a lap or 2 clutching it, but you're not going to save 10.
Yeah.
So we'll focus on what we think is going to be the eventual battle for the lead and the win, which is going to be between Taryn and Johnson here, which is now in 3rd and 4th. Pull up the battle tracker yet again, and Johnson was about 700ths faster, so that is a good amount, but I think we'll just see. Let's see what Terran's made out of. He didn't really have much confidence to be able to beat Johnson, but can he be clutch for 15 more laps? I don't know, but we'll have to see.
Johnson's a little bit quicker, but we're going to see. Terran's going to have to drive his butt off to stay ahead of Dustin right now.
How wide can that Camry get is the question. And I have a feeling it can get pretty wide, but I'm pretty sure that Johnson, he's going to find some creative way, because if when you're that fast and you've let this much of this race, you're not going to let one slip when you see it right in front of you.
Yeah, right now what Dustin needs to do is he really just needs to save his tires here for a few laps. Just let Terran get out there a little bit and burn his stuff up.
But how, as a driver, do you let somebody purposely pull away with 14 laps to go?
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, instinct tries to take over. As we see someone lose an engine.
Is that Tanner
going down
Allen?
that stretch. Yes, it is. So Tanner Allen's engine just let go, but as I was saying before, instinct kind of takes over and you just kind of do all you can to catch the guy in front of you.
Even if Kyle can make it, I think Terran and Johnson's going to catch him.
Off turn 2 here on board with Johnson, and a little bit of a wiggle from Terran as we enter 3 and 4. Johnson taking the second lane here, taking the higher groove, trying to get that run off turn 4. It doesn't really seem to be working. He lost about a car length that time by.
Coming down out of the quad oval into turns 1 and 2. Johnson losing a little bit of ground into the corner that time by yet again.
But he got a good run off turn 2, and he really got something going. Is he going to slingshot? Is he going to sling to the bottom here? No, he's going to stay in line and be patient in turn 3 and 4. It looks like he's going to go for a shot down the front straightaway, I believe.
Yeah, where Dustin has been beating people all day or night or whatever you want to call it, is just off at the corner. He's been so much better than everyone off the corner.
Yeah, and he's still got about 10 laps to go now, and 11 laps to go right now. And, you know, he's got a little bit of time to work with. Not much, but he does have a little bit of time to be patient still.
I mean, he is there. It is going to take absolute 10 laps of driving perfection from Shane Terran, I believe, to win this race. And no disrespect saying he can't do it, but it's going to be pretty hard with that big blue deuce in your mirror.
Yeah, agreed, Corey. That number 2, the Intimidator had the black car and the black nose in your mirror. He's got the white one. That was a big wiggle.
He got loose, but he didn't lose any.
He almost got
both
loose.
Those guys got loose.
He almost got loose to the point where it caused Johnson to check up.
I guess if you're going to get loose, that's the best way to do it.
Johnson went to go make an evasive maneuver and checked up, and he's still behind him.
Here he comes right to the back bumper, gets in the back bumper. Oh my God, off of turn 2. What a save from Terran. He got completely sideways off the back bumper of the 2. Very good driving by both to not wreck. Let's go back on replay and catch that.
That was crazy.
Wow.
Shane just got a little loose, and Dustin had nowhere to go and just got into him.
It wasn't contact till the very last second. It looks like Johnson was trying so hard to give him the space to save the car, but eventually he just ran out of real estate. But very good driving, and now it's going to take us to 7 laps to go here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and this is the battle for the win. Dustin Johnson gets a very good run off turn 4, is going to look to the high side, and let's see if he can pull a car length up there. Yes, he does. Side by side for the lead.
Side by side, now coming down the back straightaway out of turn number 2. Johnson holds it on the outside. Terran gets a little bit loose, and Johnson easily squeezes past.
Yeah, Dustin's going to drive away now, I think.
A valiant effort by Shane Terran there. That was an absolute drive to hold him off for that many laps, but something we have to note, the 14 car still on the track.
Yeah,
and he is still technically the leader.
I think 5 to go.
He is leading by nearly 7 seconds right now, running about a second slower than these guys. None of us
Yeah,
expect him
well,
to be able to
He's
make
pitting
it.
this lap. He's pitting.
Okay, there goes the drama.
Yeah. Come on, Kyle. We need you for drama.
We're about 2 laps away from the iRacing cutoff lap where we would not be able to get this race restarted. So if the yellow flag is going to interrupt this race, it's going to have to basically immediately.
Well, we are at 5 to go now. That should be the cutoff right there, I believe.
Yeah, I think it is.
But definitively, as we take 4 laps to go, this race is going to end green or it's going to end under yellow. There will not be any restarts from this juncture on, and unless there is a serious mistake from the 2, it looks like, as we thought the whole race, it is going to be his, but he definitely, he had to fight for it.
Yes, he did, and you were mentioning the no more restarts. I think I'd like to touch on, for those of you who aren't quite familiar with the iRacing service, there are no green-white checkered restarts on the service quite yet. We do hope to get those someday, hashtag soon, as iRacing would put it. But it is not a feature yet. So any restart after about 5 to go on the asphalt, and on dirt it would be about 3 to go, we would end under the yellow.
Shane Tarrant he's running the Larson line here. I don't know if it's whether for speed or whether that's just where he's comfortable running, but
I think he's just trying any line he can right now to try to get back to Dustin. I just don't think it's going to happen, though.
It's just always interesting. I just love seeing guys run that line, though. It is so nice on iRacing now. We've spoken a couple times about the dynamic track. It is just nice seeing guys being able to run that line and have it be competitive.
Yeah, how long have we talked about that, guys?
And just as I say that, he runs the bottom in 1 and 2.
That's how it always goes.
How long have we talked about that, guys? Being able to run the very top and still keep up with the guys in front of him.
And be faster.
Yeah, that's been a long time coming on iRacing.
But here we come, off turn 4. Dustin Johnson takes the white flag lap. 1 more trip, 1.5 miles around Atlanta Motor Speedway. And here he comes in turns 1 and 2, running that higher groove as we've been talking about, as he puts a lap on the number 4 machine. Dominating performance by the number 2, leading 89, will be 90 laps around this Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Very impressive performance today from the number 2 of Dustin Johnson as he makes his way out of turn number 4. Dustin Johnson, your winner tonight at the Atlanta 166.
Impressive performance, as we said, leading 90 laps, but also we have to give a tip of the hat, a bunch of congrats to Shane Tarrant, because he drove his butt off there and he nearly snuck one out that none of us thought was going to happen.
I did not think he'd be able to do that, but he did Shane did a really nice job trying to hold on. I didn't think he'd be able to do it, though.
So we're going to catch our breath here and prepare for post-race interviews, so stay with us here on Primetime. Back here on Primetime TV, getting you post-race interviews. First in the booth will be the third place finisher, Joshua Adams. Josh Adams, you got a copy?
Yeah, I've got you guys.
All right, so we saw kind of a very dynamic race. You guys ran 120 some odd laps green, a couple cautions, and it was about strategy getting to the end there. So talk about how your race played out and how you ultimately ended up third.
Yeah, we were pretty good there in the beginning. I thought we were pretty good in the long run. I ended up with a little bit of damage because of a lapped car, and it didn't hurt me too bad. But then I got clipped in that last wreck and lost some of the speed, but I guess I was able to hold on to third because everybody else wrecked, so yeah, that was good.
Yeah, let's talk about how the track was. We saw the dynamic track really kicking in. Guys were running from the bottom to about the middle, like the third lane, and a lot of guys getting really sideways off of two. How was your car driving for you?
Oh yeah, it was typical Atlanta. It was pretty sideways. It was kind of tight, tight and loose, which is a lot of fun. So it was just a really fun race. Ran green a lot. Really fun when you can do that.
Yeah. It was kind of confusing for us. Did you kind of know who you were racing and what kind of strategies everybody was on? Because it seemed with the everyone coming on different stops for tires, it was kind of really throwing off the standings there.
Yeah, I knew the guys that were running it out on the fuel were going to be the ones racing for the win. We run 10 gallons of fuel, so short pitting really isn't that much of a benefit. We caught back up to everybody, so basically the guys that ran the fuel out I thought were the ones that were going to win the race.
Yeah, 10-4, man. So regardless of how it turned out, you got a good finish out of it. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just thank iBog Power for letting us use their logos on our cars, and I don't know what you guys saw on my hood, but I think it might have been the Glass Case of Emotion podcast, so if that was it, shout out to Ryan Blaney. So yeah.
All right, thanks, Josh, and congrats on your finish.
All right, thank you.
And now for your second place driver, Shane Taryn. Shane, you got a copy?
I got you.
All right, well, it was a hard fought battle there at the end of this thing. All throughout the race, though, we talked to you a little bit earlier. You said you were struggling with a tight race car. How did it feel at the end of this thing?
Actually, I don't even know. I didn't even focus on it. I just kind of raced really, really hard and tried to stay with Justin. I don't really know where my speed came from, but I'll definitely take second after struggling all race.
Oh, well, when you had Dustin behind you, did you have any plan to try to keep him behind you? Obviously, there was some contact made there. It looked like you were getting a little bit slideways off the corners there. What was going on those last couple laps?
I knew he was going to get by me at some point, but I was going to try and hold him off. But once he got to my outside, it just got really, really tight, so I didn't really push the issue, or else he would have wrecked. So I'm going to let him go and try to chase him back down. Came up short.
All right, well, an amazing run here at the end of this race for you, for sure. Is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to?
I'll give a shout out to Cody for the league, you guys for broadcasting, and then my Evo Motorsports teammates who unfortunately couldn't make it, and then my Sky Motorsports team, with Robert Kenny racing tonight.
All right, Shane, once again, congratulations on your podium finish here tonight, and have a good night. And now moving on to your winner tonight, dominating fashion here, Dustin Johnson. Dustin, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, dominating win here for you tonight. You had the speed in your race car all night. What was the track like all night, and how did your car feel?
Track, it was tight entry to center and loose off, but that's just how Atlanta works, and really got to conserve those tires, right front and the right rear, depending on what your driving style is. And I did that all night and came out victorious.
Yeah, you definitely had the speed. Between you and LaPrade here tonight, did you think that when starting this race, you think that you'd have a shot at the win tonight?
Oh yeah, I figured I'd have a shot. It played out about how I thought it would. I purposely left 3 to 4 tenths on the track on the first 10 to 15 laps of a run just so I could have the tires at the end of a run, and it showed.
Yeah, we saw you on a bit of an offset strategy from, Laprade especially. He tried to pit in a little bit earlier, and, your tires were there at the end. Did you kind of have a set plan, or did you kind of want to, offset yourself on purpose from these guys?
Honestly, I wanted to go 33 laps if it went green to the end and divide it into 6 or 7 runs, but we didn't have enough fuel. And after that, you lose about 2 seconds every lap you run on old tires to new tires. So if I had a 6-second lead over second, I would pit 3 laps after him. And each run, the lead would grow, and I would pit later and later.
Well, there you have it, folks. Calculations of a driver, and obviously they have to be quick. So you come home in the win tonight. Is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Thanks to my team JSM that I run a open series with, and all the viewers out there. I know I had 3 or 4 that were watching me, and you guys for doing a good job.
All right, much appreciated, Dustin. And once again, congratulations on your dominating victory tonight.
All right, and now that the interviews have been done, let's do our finishing results and wrap up coverage here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Again, with the victory is Dustin Johnson in the number 2 machine, absolutely dominating fashion with 90 laps. Shane Tarrant in second, Joshua Adams in third, Tyler Hensley in fourth, Kyle Souza rounding out the top 5. Then we have Rusty Capel, Casey Shue, Tanner Allen, Robert Kenny, and Thomas Bressie.
I can't see results.
Then Briar Laprade, Kyle Zimmer, Jonathan Wall, Nick Massey, Cody Tabor, Travis Lonis, Joel Holloway, Corey Blevins, and Dylan Pileski. Pretty much everyone in that group of drivers out with some kind of incidents.
Well, folks, as we see from fifth on back, was a lap down. Very interesting finish to tonight. Any final thoughts, Corey? Or Evan?
Well, I'll give my thoughts, and then Evan can have his. I want to say that these guys did a heck of a job. I haven't seen a race go green like that in quite some time. It was a very good bit of fresh air to see, but ultimately, in the end, it still came down to a good finish.
Yeah, I agree with what Corey said. It was really nice to see them be able to do 120 or however many laps they did under green, consecutive laps, but it still came down to a really close finish.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with both of you guys. I want to give another quick shout out to our sponsors here tonight. Air Movement and Fabrications, a longtime partner with us so far here on Primetime Racing TV. Air Movement and Fabrications, Nottingham's choice for custom signs, designs, repairs, and all things metal. Visit them online at airmovefabs.co.uk or find them on Facebook. Air Movement and Fabrications, an official partner with Primetime Racing TV. And also overlay graphics for the channel done by myself, Krutz Custom Graphics. Custom racing shirts, hero cards, paint schemes, and much more. From local racers to big race teams, we have your back. Based out of upstate New York, Krutz Custom Graphics is the motorsports design specialist, also an official partner with Primetime Racing TV. So, in the booth tonight, we have Evan Black and Corey Silva and myself, Brandon Krutz. We wish you all to have a good and safe weekend here, and we'll be back next week on Primetime Racing TV. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.